Training when sore. You will be better than me if you listen to what I say and not what I do. Because when do you hit a muscle again? And how many times a week do you hit muscles? All right, guys. Hey, I got a couple of savages with me today. We did Sunday leg day. Obviously, we trained. Heath Evans did not, but it is the Lord's Day, and Heath Evans does take that off plus the rest of the week. So I don't know how that works out.
Yeah. Just you guys make sure to just block Heath Evans. That's all.
Yep. If you can, hashtag block Heath Evans. We are starting this. I think this is going to help the community and the world stay positive. We're truth seekers.
That's right.
Too much? Too soon? Too soon without Heath? Keep going. All right. So this is what we're doing today. We're going to do a little Q&A here with these guys. If you guys have any kind of questions. Doc's been with me for how long?
It's been almost a year now.
Almost a year now with me. And he still hangs out with me just for the workouts. It's like I'm a friend for the hour.
Yeah.
And then Quince came in for this weekend. So I really want to hear what kind of things you picked up, that kind of aspect from what you picked up this weekend from it. And then Doc, you kind of add into you're a savage college athlete, track star, switched to powerlifting, and you trained with some great coaches in your time, some great people. And then just kind of differences of what we did during the quarantine.
Yeah.
So again, these guys can answer pretty much anything there is. I'll start this off. Today we did some legs. In the last couple of weeks, we've been pounding the legs to the point where we're hitting legs again, and they're still sore. Do I recommend that? I don't recommend it for you guys. It's not smart. Yeah, when you're sore, just kind of move on to a different body part if you can, or move something else. But for us, we're not the brightest cats in the gym, so we love to train and we try to move through it and get the flow of the blood in there to help it heal as well as keep going. It's tough for us to say no.
That's true.
It's tough. So when I do say do as I say, not as I do, I really do mean that. You will be better than me if you listen to what I say and not what I do, because I love training. And these guys, the guys around me love training. So there's a difference between being loving something and being smart about it. I don't need to be as smart about it anymore because I retired over 2 decades ago. So I love to train. That's what I do. What about you, kiddo?
Yeah, I love it. It's I don't do it just for the weight, do it for the mental part too. Sometimes you gotta let that stress out, and that's how I do it for sure. Yeah.
Same here. I mean, just like you said, the mental aspect. For me, I definitely need it for my mental health. Like you said, Mike, I ran track from high school all through college and even post-collegiate before I pulled my hamstring. So switching from that to powerlifting was really good for me because, number one, it helped me to heal my hamstring. But number two, again, I love to train. I've been doing it for so long. It's a part of who I am as an individual. So if I were to stop training, then everyone around me is like, are you okay? Something going on?
Majority of you guys take it off, and that's fine. I think you just heard all three of us say the same thing, and I think Mona is somewhat the same way, is that we love training mentally prior to the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mental release and energy that we love to do. We love to get in there and do it. That's a beautiful thing, because I know that a lot of you guys on Sundays are taking it off, and that's a mental thing as well. It's like today's, I guess you would say, Instagrammers or social media kids all think that Sunday is like cheat day or high day, and if that helps you mentally, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But mostly Jeffrey over here that put on 50 pounds naturally in 6 months. I don't know how that's possible. All right, let's move on to the second thing. Training when sore. Docs, lead us off.
Okay, so for me, training when sore. The first time that we did the strenuous leg workout that Mike put me through 2 weeks ago,
10 by 10s.
10 by 10 on the belt squat. Felt good that day. Later that day, We all know delayed onset muscle soreness. Typically, the next day or the day after that, that's when your muscles are going to be the sorest. I felt it immediately that same day, within a couple of hours of finishing that workout. And then to come back the following week to do it again, my legs were destroyed. Don't get me wrong, I did my best, but I knew that it would come with some limitations because my legs were still feeling that same fatigue, that same level of soreness from the previous week.
If they had done this, the guys out there, the kids out there, if they did the same workout, would you have recommended to come back in and do it, or what would you recommend?
I would say do it, but take the weight back, focus more on technique and form. Definitely number one is to just scale the weight back because you're not going to be able to do the same amount of weight. You may not be able to do the same amount of reps because your legs have endured such trauma the previous week with all the soreness that you're going to be facing. The main thing is it's blood flow to help repair the muscles and to keep the muscles moving because once you develop some scar tissue and you stop the muscles from moving, they're just stuck. You want to make sure that the muscles are still fluid, that you keep that movement going and you flush that blood in to get that lactate and that scar tissue out so that they can heal properly. Because right now, this is the third time that I've come in to do the belt squat. I feel great today.
Same thing.
Same thing.
About
It's
just
just
like soreness. When do you hit a muscle again, and how many times a week do you hit muscles?
I usually just hit muscles once a week. I pick chest and shoulders. Those are my favorites, so I'll do it twice. But after the first time I hit it, if I'm sore the next time, like Doc said, I'll just go lighter and focus on my range of motion, my form, and just to squeeze. And then, like I said, to me, it's different with certain muscles. Like I might do biceps and they're sore, but I come back again and I kill them just as hard as I did the first time. And I don't really feel no pain. But the biggest thing, you don't want to get injured. So if you kill legs like they did, and you go lift with somebody else that's doing leg day and they're killing that day, don't be scared to say, nah, I'm going to do something else. Or, hey, I'm going to lighten the way up. Don't try to trend or fit in or be scared to defend yourself. It's your body at the end of the day.
To add on to what they're saying, again, we train mentally is number one. So if you're sore, there is no work week in a sense. So you guys have, the 5 body parts, and so you spread it out within a week. There's nothing wrong with going 8 days or 9 days over a period of time on workouts. Something that we do is we try to listen to the body the majority of the time. And so, like, if we train legs on Monday, and like Doc was saying, our legs were so sore, I had to go down the stairs backwards because my quads were cramping up on me. So they were destroyed. But we didn't hit legs again. We have done this to where we don't hit legs again for another 9 or 10 days. So that will happen at times. Remember, the days off are just as important as the training days, if you can mentally handle it. I will say that's hard, but again, if it's about training them and then recovering and then growing, and that's what we're trying to tell you both sides of this. For a lot of you guys that maybe are a little older and you just do this because you mentally love it and you want to stay healthy and keep the heart moving, and then do what we did. But if you're trying to get on the stage and everything, then just try to be smart and try to control it and pull back a little bit. I always say, for me, and I guarantee you're the same, you guys, I would have been better if I didn't love lifting as much. And the reason I say that is because then I would do 4 to 5 days a week and I would take my days off.
Yeah.
And be okay with it.
Would be okay with it. But I love it too much.
Yeah.
And so I go too hard. And that's a crazy concept to say, but when you're trying to create this physique, it has got to be smart. You got to be really, really smart. So I hopefully you guys add on to that about rest days.
After hearing what Mike said, I always take things and take it back home. There's a lot of information I got today, but him saying that is making me think about taking, some days off. Maybe even if it's just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, take off just for that healing to be able to grow. And that's what people don't get is taking off don't mean you're being lazy. You're giving your body time to grow so you can, heal so you can grow, grow more. The more you strain it, the longer it takes. That's what I think.
So for me, this goes back to my high school track days. My father was.
Before you go into this, let me understand this too, because I wasn't a track guy. When you run,
Mhm.
you guys run daily, from
Almost
what I
daily.
understand.
Mhm.
And I also understand, if I remember this correctly, your explosion or your power days are actually a day before. You can go and blow it out the day before you run the next day.
Yep.
Where bodybuilding or powerlifting, you need to take a couple of days off
Mhm.
to recover. But you guys can go out and do it day in and day out.
Yep.
So go for it. Go for it.
So what I was taught, what was instilled into me from 10th grade all the way even through college was we train 6 days a week. You have 1 day of rest. So each day you focus on something different. We're running on all of those days, but it's what we're doing with the running that is what you're going to be training. So the number one thing my father always told me was, you want to train 6 days a week because everybody else is training 5. You want to be that person who, when everybody else is taking a break, you're doing that one extra day. Because unlike other sports where you get, first down, second down, third down, you play basketball, you've got 4 quarters. In track, the event that I ran, the winner is determined by less than a tenth of a second. So every day that you don't train, someone else is training more than you. And that's carried on even now through powerlifting.
I'm gonna take that and go back to the youth. I was the youngest of 5 boys, so I got to live with them all competing, and my sisters competed too. But I got to live in a house where all of them would train and train and train. And if you grow up with brothers, you would know is if you're the youngest, you don't stop till your older brothers give up, and you keep training until they go to sleep. And so our parents, the power grid was in their room, and so and in the basement, all the boys would live. We had bunk beds, and just it was a gym. It was like an ideal place for an alpha male that just wanted to be a savage. But it became like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and my dad would go over to the power grid and just shut everything down.
Oh, wow.
It was like 9 o'clock, done. You guys are done. And you just hear all of us still lifting or doing sit-ups or still doing push-ups until the last one gives up. And that mindset stayed with me throughout life. But the way you're talking about it is, I'm sorry, I got tingles. Because it takes you back to that. I don't want to be the best in the house. I don't want to be the best in the state. I don't want to be the best in the United States. I want to be the best in the freaking world. And there's 7.5 billion people.
Yep.
And when you start slacking and you start taking days off, or you start skipping your meals, or whatever that is, there's somebody out there that's younger than you, that's better than you, that's not skipping anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep that in the forefront of your mind, then you can kind of maybe understand my philosophy a little bit better, and what you were talking about and how your dad raised you. And I'll guarantee your dad raised you that way.
Yeah, 'cause we all ran track, but I didn't go as far as he did, but we all have to run track. So as far as, we played all sports, and we're good at all sports, so that's like you said, his dad was on our butts, man. If we strike out, and ain't no, son, it's okay. Nah, we know when we get home, my dad's gonna wake me up the next day and throw 100 balls at me and make me hit them all out in the field to get me better, so I won't strike out no more. So it was tough, man, but it teaches you a lot with life. Life is so tough, and that's what a lot of these young kids don't know yet, because they're still in the house or being baby. When you get out there by yourself in that world, be ready.
So let me ask you guys this, because you guys were raised by a different dad than my dad was. Grow up and be a man. Your decision's your decision. So when I got in fights, and I'd get taken to juvie or something, he'd be like on the phone call, "All right, have a good night. Aren't you coming to get me? No, you made the decision. Have a good night." And so he was hands off because there was 10 of us and he couldn't govern us. He said, "Grow up and be a man," which I was young when I made the switch to where he was teaching me, but then I adapted those philosophies, and I started living it, because we're talking about how our dads raised us. But at a certain point, you started training 6 days a week. Your dad ain't telling you what to do anymore, but you still do it.
Yep.
You train like a beast. Your dad's not telling you to train like a beast, but you still do it yourself. And I still do it myself. So where did it switch from when your dad tried to teach you the way to do it to where you said, no, I want to train this way. I want to be that guy.